Please check the audio. Audible, clear and loud.
Yes, your voice is loud.
Is it echoing, ma'am?
No.
Okay.
Hello, good morning from Finland, Dr. Asma.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Ramo. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Raimo.
Good morning, everybody. I hope that the sound and video quality is good.
Yeah.
Shall I try to share my screen?
Yes, sir, you can join. Just try your screen also, and if there's any video you want to show.
Yeah, I'd like to test my PowerPoint slides, please.
Okay, sure. Asma, ma'am,
Yes.
can he share his screen?
Yes. Yes. There are 2-3 minutes, no, to start.
हाँ. So
You
he
can
can just try his screen whether it is in sharing or not. वही बार check कर लेते हैं.
हाँ.
Yes, sir. Dr. Raimo, sir, you can share your screen, please, so that we can just test if it works.
This screen sharing should be first stopped before I can share mine.
This PPT must be stopped. MCT College? MCT College? Divya? This PPT must be closed, then only Dr. Ramo can share. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Face कट रहा है.
Yes, it's visible, Dr. Ramo.
Can you see the whole slide?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It works well.
MCT College, you can share our slide.
It's a request to all the participants who are attending online. Please keep yourself mute so that the speakers sound is audible to all of us and there's no echo. Thank you.
Miss Sophia, you can start program.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Good morning to our distinguished guests, resident educators, and participants joining us from across the globe. I am Sophia Sheikh, Assistant Professor at Anjuman Islam's Akbar Pirbhai College of Education. It is a profound honor to welcome you to this international conference on SDG 4, Quality Education, Empowering Quality Education for All, Innovations, Research, and Global Collaborations. This landmark event is a collaborative initiative organized by the Cluster College District, Thane, Maharashtra, India, bringing together the collective expertise of three premier institutions. Anjuman-e-Islam's Akbar Pirbhai College of Education, Vashi, a pioneer in nurturing value-based educators. HBDed College of Education, Vashi, known for its commitment to academic excellence. And MCT's College of Education and Research, Airoli, a center dedicated to pedagogical innovation and research. We stand at a pivotal moment in history where innovation and global collaboration are essential for the future of our learners. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our distinguished dignitaries, patrons, and guests present here. A very warm and heartfelt welcome to Padma Shri Dr. Zahir I. Qazi, Honorable President Anjuman-e-Islam, Dr. Ramos Sehlo, Global Partnerships Manager at the Oulu University Teacher Training School, Finland, Mr. Shohab Rais, Honorable Joint Secretary Anjuman-e-Islam, Mr. Burhan Harris, Honorable Executive Chairpersons BINM, and all the faculty and principals that are present on hybrid mode. Thank you all for being here with us today. To begin with the ceremony, let us join together for the lighting of the lamp. Light knows no borders. The glow from this lamp reaches the eyes of those sitting here in this hall, but its significance travels through fiber optics and satellites to screens thousands of miles away. As we light this lamp, we acknowledge that while our physical locations differ, intellectual purpose is singular. Are connected by a shared bandwidth of curiosity and a collective desire to innovate. This flame symbolizes a spark of insight that transcends distance. As the lamp burns, it reminds us to strive for enlightenment and growth. Let the divine flame bless us all. Just as the flame moves upward, may this event inspire us to elevate our thoughts and excel. Thank you. To continue this intellectual journey on a note of harmony and unity, let us all stand for the university song.
Mandiram Sharadaya Mumbapuri Vishwavidyalayam Idam Sundaram Mandiram Sharadaya स्यात् युवा राष्ट्रकर्तव्यनिष्ठा समानेकतत्त्वं विलोकत्रयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् इदं सुन्दरं मन्दिरं शारदाया कुम्भापुरी विश्वविद्यालयम् वन्दामहे भारतं पूजनीयं स्वदेशात् परं नास्ति देवालयम् वन्दामहे भारतं पूजनीयं स्वदेशात् परं नास्ति देवालयम् अत्रैव सर्वे प्रतिष्ठापयामो ममत्वेन साकं समत्वं वयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् इदं सुन्दरं मन्दिरं शारदाया कुम्भापुरी विश्वविद्यालयम् कलाशास्त्रवाणिज्यशाखाविरूढा अमूढा विमुक्ता विहङ्गा वयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम् शृण्वन्तु सर्वे दृढं निश्चयम्
Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you to the technical team. To set the stage for our deliberations and provide us with the roadmap for this conference, I now invite a visionary leader and the organizing secretary of this event, Dr. Asma Sheikh, Principal of Anjuman Islam, Akbar Pirbhai College of Education. With her extensive experience in teacher education and commitment to pedagogical excellence, she has played a pivotal role in bringing our three cluster colleges together for this global dialogue. Ma'am, I request you to please share the theme orientation and set the vision for our proceedings. Floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Sophia, for the introduction. A very good morning to one and all. It's my privilege to present the theme orientation for the international conference on SDG 4 quality education. The theme of our conference, empowering quality education for all innovations, research, and global collaborations for achieving SDG 4. It highlights the crucial role educators play in shaping inclusive, equitable, and future-ready learning systems. Quality education is not merely about access to schooling, it is about meaningful learning, innovations in pedagogy, and creating opportunities for lifelong growth. In today's rapidly changing world, education must be beyond textbooks and examination to foster critical thinking, creativity, collaborations, and compassion along learners. At the heart of these transformations are our educators. Teachers are not just facilitators of knowledge. They are leaders, innovators, and change makers. Empowering them with the right skills, tools, and global perspective is essential to achieving the vision of SDG 4. This theme focuses on three dimensions. First, empowerment of educators, equipping teachers across all disciplines with inclusive practices, digital competencies, and learner-centered approaches. Second one, innovations and research, encouraging the adoption of innovative methodology, evidence-based, and continuous professional development. And third one is global collaboration, building partnership among institutions, researchers, and policymakers to share best practices and create sustainable education ecosystem. This conference provides a dynamic platform where ideas coverage, experiences are shared, and collaborations are strengthened. It brings together diverse voices from different fields to collectively reflect how we can integrate SDG 4 principle into our curriculum and teaching practices. Through discussion, presentation, and scholarly exchange, we aim to generate actionable insights that will enhance educational quality, promote inclusivity, and contribute to long-term impact in teacher education. As we move forward, let us remember that achieving quality education is a shared responsibility. Together, through innovation, commitment, and collaboration, we can create a future where education truly empowers every learner. With this vision, I wish the conference great success. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Asma Sheikh, for outlining the vision behind the gathering. We are truly privileged to begin our first session with a global perspective on education. It is now a distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker, a global leader in educational transformation, joining us from Finland, a nation synonymous with excellence in schooling. Dr. Raimo Salo is the Global Partnerships Manager at the Oulu University Teacher Training School in Finland. With a career spanning over 30 years, Dr. Salo has become a vital voice in the planning and implementation of professional development for educators across more than 20 countries. His work is driven by a deep-seated passion for advancing educational policies through high-quality professional learning. As a specialist in program design, he works closely with schools and national institutions to ensure that the teacher training works into real-world impact. Dr. Salo's expertise covers the entire spectrum of educational leadership, from mentoring teachers to guiding principals and university educators. In his doctoral research, he focused on the critical areas of teachers' professional competence and change management, exploring how we can build capacity to enhance pedagogical standards. His ultimate goal remains clear: to ensure positive learning outcomes for students at every level, from primary classrooms to higher education. Sir, we are privileged to have your global expertise with us today. I now invite Dr. Raimo Salo to deliver the keynote address. Sir, please unmute and speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and a good morning to you all from Finland. I will share my screen in a minute, but first I would like to great thank you for the organizers for the possibility to be present in this international conference. I feel privileged to be part of the program. I hope you can see the starting slide now as a one slide.
Yes, sir, you're visible.
Thank you. So in my presentation, I will introduce you a pedagogical method which in Finland is used to support students' learning, especially those students who have a different background to education than the mainstream students. In other words, newly arrived students. These children, they have mother tongue other than the language of instruction in our school system. A very short introduction of my previous background. I used to be a teacher in 2 international schools here in Finland. Also spent a couple of years in the Ministry of Education in Namibia, Africa, which gave me personal experience about how it feels to be the other in a mainstream community and culture. If you are in LinkedIn, I would be happy to connect with you also through LinkedIn. Greetings from the city of Oulu. I hope that one day you will be visiting. We are located by the sea in the middle part of Finland. University of Oulu has got 8 faculties, and I work in the Faculty of Education and Psychology. Our unit is called Teacher Training School, and our school is rather old, more than 400 years already, and we are part of the Faculty of Education and Psychology. What makes us a teacher training school is the fact that every year we get 600 student teachers to come in our classrooms to practice how to teach. We provide education for children between grades 1 to 12, but as said, at the same time, we offer opportunities for student teachers to feel how it is to teach little children in classrooms during their master's degree studies in our university. We organize professional development training programs. There are 3 online programs, one about mentoring, one about leadership and management, and one about assessment, and more information can be found from our website. Also, I'd like to welcome you all to our seminar in June 27. It's called Midnight Sun Summer School. And as the name says, in Finland, at the time of June, the sun is really shining 24 hours. So, a few words. What is the preparatory education, as we call it? The system where we welcome the newly arrived students from different countries to Finland. The policy is that the same as students and their families move to Finland, they are able to enter education the following day. And by the way, this photograph is taken just outside Oulu. This is the sea covered by ice, and we do winter cycling as well. So the aim of the preparatory education is that the students' skills in Finnish language and the learning skills are adequate enough to attend so-called basic education, which in Finland refers to grades from 1 to 9, and students are aged between 7 to 16. It's a non-stop system, first of all. Once the newly arrived family moves to Finland, as I said, it doesn't matter what time of the year or the academic year the student arrives, we welcome him or her into our classroom. Because all of them have got different background. Some may not have attended school before. Some have attended international schools abroad, but once they come to Finland, we need to tailor-make them individual study plans. And the education in the preparatory education group lasts approximately 1 year from the day of arrival, but that varies quite a lot case by case. The groups are rather small, about 10 students per group, including a teacher and usually also one assistant who is supporting the students' learning. From the early days, we integrate the newly arrived students to so-called mainstream classrooms in certain subjects. This is to do with subjects where language of instruction, in our case, it's either Finnish or Swedish language, but usually Finnish language. In these subjects, the Finnish language, of course, is used, spoken a lot, but you can also learn a lot of skills within music, arts, handicraft, and sports. This also helps and supports the new student to meet other students who are living close by the school, Finnish children, who then may teach the newly arrived students more vocabulary about our language. And finally, in preparatory education, the emphasis is to teach Finnish language, but it happens by teaching all subjects, the very same subjects as we educate our Finnish students. So this cycle, which I'm about to show you, I hope that it describes how the system works. I told you already that there is individual study plan for all newly arrived students, and naturally all the content is taken from the curriculum, but tailor-made to the individual needs by the student. And as the teaching takes place, after a while, of course, it will be somewhat assessed, not by numerical assessment, but by teachers' assessment, verbal assessment. Then the teacher may decide that now this part of the curriculum is covered and the student has learned enough, so the study plan will have new content from the curriculum. And so the cycle goes around approximately for 1 year. So in this presentation, I'm focusing on the pedagogical method which supports the newly arrived students to integrate not only to the school and society, but to Finland in general. And as I said, the newly arrived students means those children whose mother tongue is different from the language of instruction, that is mainly Finnish language. And this pedagogical method has several objectives. It's important that they feel at home as early as possible. And of course, one important way to do so is to learn about the language and culture. Another objective for the method is that we'd like to increase the students' learning to learn skills, including collaboration, problem solving, and group work skills. But there are other objectives than the students, and that is that the teachers will be learning how to use other learning environments outside the school building, not only the classroom or other rooms and areas within the building, but outside. Also, one of the objectives for the pedagogical method is that the educators' professional skills will be developed. I have labeled and named the pedagogical method by the name tripod. I was thinking about how to describe best what this is all about, and this word came to my mind because the method itself includes 3 different phases. Number 1, before they leave the classroom to visit the outside learning environment, they have orientation phase in the classroom. For example, if they are about to go to a museum or a science center, they will learn about the topic and content. Where are we about to go? Where are we visiting with our teacher? They learn about the concepts, the new words. They can ask questions about it. They read books, maps, the internet to search for data and so forth. Number 2, during the study visit outside the school building, the students are giving hands-on exercises that they complete during the visit. They meet with the local experts who will explain them about the venue where they have arrived. Students will do group work to solve the assignments, and they will also most likely experience something totally new which they have never visited or seen before. Number 3, after the study visit, the idea is that there happens reflection in classrooms guided by the teacher. Please keep in mind that these students, their Finnish language skills is still quite limited. So it's good to repeat the main concepts that they have learned during the study visit. Most likely they will always have new questions that they want to learn about because they have experienced now the place by themselves. One of the best ways, to my understanding, to learn new concepts is that you express yourself and listen to others while you are doing group work about the content. Many of them took videos or photographs, and also one way, including the videos, was involved with the study, with the pedagogical method. That is that with the outside helpers, professionals from the local so-called movie school, these experts supported our students to create movies from the short movies from the study visits. Now these movies then I copied them to DVD discs, and they were shared to all students to be taken home. So this pedagogical method is not limited only to students themselves, but there are different layers in it. And one of the layers is also the parents and their siblings. So once the student took the DVD home to show what they have created, the aim was that the other members of the family also got interested about the venue where their child has visited. Let it be, for example, the local science center. And hopefully, this way, the other members of the family were also helped and supported to integrate better in their new living environment. Next, I will show you some photographs of the outside learning environments where the students visited. This is the local science center where they had several hands-on experiences and tests. This is the botanical garden located by the university campus area where they explored plants and trees and flowers from around the world. This is the animal museum that they also visited and learned about the animals living in Finland. And this is the handicraft workshop where they were able to create and design different kinds of handicraft work. Many of the newly arrived students had never experienced snow and winter time. So these visits to this place where they were able to play with the snow and build snow castles and snow men and so forth, they were a lot of fun for many of these children because this was something totally new for them. The theoretical background with the tripod can be seen on this slide. The three phases are described in the middle. And as I said, one of the layers within the pedagogical method is that the aim was also not to integrate the students, but also to develop the teachers' pedagogical skills. And that happened so that every month we got together. I was chairing the meetings, and the teachers started to plan the tuition for the following study visit. After the study visit, they got together again, and themselves, adults, they did reflection. And so this cycle was ongoing approximately 3.5 years. One area also that was aimed was the individual schools where these students were studying. During this time period, we had approximately 10 to 15 schools attending this pedagogical method. And by this, I mean that the school's working culture was developed because these other teachers and staff members also learned more about the method itself and how the preparatory education functions within the school. And of course, in general, the idea was that we develop the values and culture of the whole society in the big picture. Next, I would like to share with you my idea about which effects were given and experienced during the pedagogical method. I have already spoken about the teachers who got together and learned a lot from each other. The preparatory education model, the system itself was also developed, and I'm very happy to say that because of this pedagogical method time period, we did in the city of Oulu, the national curriculum was changed to include the outside learning environments. And of course, this education itself had effects to the students in many ways, and hopefully also we did our best to involve the other parts of the society. Next, I would like to share with you ideas about how the teachers were experiencing their professional development. And I'd like to start this part by sharing the idea that reality should be studied through experience. And to my understanding, this happens quite nicely through reflection. And there are two parts of the didactics to begin with. On the left, you can see the normative didactics, which means that the curriculum provides the objectives of education and upbringing for the children. And then on the right-hand side, you can see descriptive didactics. That means that what happens in the classroom when the teacher is teaching. And this double-sided arrow means that during the teaching, the teacher is thinking throughout the lesson, throughout the day, that am I doing my work according to the norm? Am I teaching the students what the curriculum tells me to do? Are we reaching the objectives? Should I change something, and so on? Reflection can take place individually, but I highly recommend that it takes place within groups. And with the help of reflection, the teachers are able to combine the theory on the left to practice on the right. And this cycle is ongoing. How about the principles of teachers' actions? What do we base our actions on? When we work with our students in classroom, do we really think about all the time, are we making these decisions consciously or unconsciously? And my point here is to say that reflection is the key to help individual teachers to become more aware of themselves and learn consciously the reasons and justifications for their actions. In my final slide, I'd like to share you the results of the research that I made about the pedagogical method. I am well aware that this research has been made already more than 10 years ago, but the pedagogical method itself is still in use and very much usable and of course adaptable to local contexts in any school. So the results of the research from students' point of view. This is found that the model itself really supports students' integration in many ways. And their learning to learn skills will be developed, and the experiential and problem-based learning teaching methods, they are suitable for students who have arrived to Finland from other countries recently and are still in the development process to learn about the Finnish language. The second part of the results concerns the staff members. And the teachers feel that the tripod model itself is very usable, and they feel that when they leave the school, the classroom to visit the outside learning environments, it makes teaching concrete and authentic. Many teachers feel also that they usually are used to only teach, and of course they do planning and reflection as such, but when the orientation and reflection phases are systematic, they feel that they have become more meaningful for them as they plan and implement their teaching. If we have time, I'm happy to have some questions or comments from you now, or then of course also afterwards via email if you have any. But once again, thank you for your attention. Special thanks for the organizers to invite me. I feel really happy to work together with the university, and hopefully we can continue our collaboration in the future. Thank you.
If anybody has a question, you may raise your hand. You will have to come. You will have to come here. Okay, we have one question from the audience present in the hall.
Morning. Dr. Raimo, you have mentioned in the slide individual study plan. Can you share that what is the individual study plan?
Yes, with pleasure. So as I said, in this preparatory education, the students have recently moved to Finland. Now, some of their educational background may be next to nothing. They have never attended school, and some have already the skills to read, write, do math, and so forth. So that means that they cannot be educated according to the same content in this preparatory education model. They need to have an individual study plan which is targeted to their needs. As said, if you are teaching mathematics, for example, as a teacher in a preparatory education classroom, it may easily be that every student has a different grade level math book because they are different ages, or they have never studied math before. So they are studying mathematics from different books, or if they have a same book, most likely they are not studying the same content because their skills vary quite a lot. So the teacher and the assistant in the classroom, they really need to go around the classroom all the time to help and teach the students about the content. And this same happens in most of the school subjects. But as I said, some subjects can be taught for the whole group at the same time. But most of the content, let's say Finnish language, history, biology, and so forth, which are very much based on text, they must be tailor-made and designed for individuals. I hope that this clarifies the idea.
Thank you, sir, for clarifying the question, the query. Thank you, Dr. Salo, for that enlightening keynote address with your expertise in teacher training and with your case study on a pedagogical method to support newly arrived students' learning. Thank you very much, sir. We now move on to the next part. It is my great honor to introduce a distinguished educationist, visionary leader, and recipient of the prestigious Padma Awards 2024, Dr. Zahir Raid Kazi, the president at Anjuman Islam. Dr. Kazi has made remarkable contributions to the field of education through his transformative learning and commitment to inclusive and quality learning. As a key figure in advancing educational initiatives, his work strongly aligns with the vision of United Nations Sustainable Development Goal for ensuring equitable, inclusive, and lifelong learning opportunities for all. His dedication to academic excellence, innovation, and community development continues to inspire educators and institutions both nationally and internationally. Dr. Zahir Kazi is a doctor by profession, and due to an emergency that has come up in his medical profession, he is unable to join us here today for the presidential address. So we have from our management, Mr. Shoaib Rais, Honorable Joint Secretary, Anjuman Islam. We would kindly request Mr. Shoaib Rais to deliver the presidential address for us today. Sir, unmute yourself and speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning to everybody. Since Dr. Kazi is a practicing radiologist, he had to attend some emergency this morning, and as a consequence of the same, he is not able to attend the program. And it's my privilege to be here and talk to all of you. Dr. Raimo Salo, thank you so much for coming and joining our program. And all the participants and organizers for this program, thank you for being here. This is a program on quality education as per the Sustainable Development Goal 4 of United Nations Charter. Anjuman Islam is in education field for over 150 years, as you all know. and we have a few things which are very you can say specific, or which distinguish us from some of the large institutes is in our institute we try to ensure that there is no student who goes back from getting an admission because of want of funds. We try and organize charities both for students fees and also sometimes for their other requirements like books, bags, uniforms, etc., including transportation. We are about 97 educational institutes across the state of Maharashtra, right from KG till PhD into various streams, including engineering, architecture, science, commerce, business management, hotel management, pharmacy, Unani medicine, etc. Our focus on quality education is very high. We always try to keep updating our institutes. For the last few years, many of our schools, we have transformed their classrooms through interactive electronic panels. We have established STEAM labs into various institutes, and we are continuously trying to upgrade our systems of teaching. Uh, the address of Dr. Raimo Salo on integrating students with different mother tongues into new environment was very, very important. And he talked about tripod model both for students and teachers is very enlightening. Dr. Salo and all the participants, I would also like to touch upon this exactly how we are trying to do in Anjuman also. In Anjuman, many of the first time learners, most of the primary students, more than about 40-50% of them are first time learners. Nobody in their families have gone to school, they have not seen the face of the school. And many of them are from vernacular medium, like you can say their own mother tongue. Like some of them are from Urdu, some of them are from Hindi, some of them are from Marathi. Those kind of students come, and in order to integrate them to the new or the modern world, many of our schools we have transformed into a like a mix of Urdu and English medium, like where mathematics and science we teach in English and other subjects we teach in Urdu. So we try to do that for so that the students who are coming from their mother tongues, they are comfortable in our schools, and at the same time they are able to prepare themselves to be in the modern world and in the competitive world. So that's we have been doing for quite some time, and now with everything opening up, and especially in India, which was a closed economy some time back, things are opening up. So we have reached out and we have started collaborating with various institutes and universities to ensure that we enhance the quality of our education in our institutes. So we have aligned with MIT, and in collaboration with them, we have done some programs, and we have even included that into. We have an institute, Kalsekar Institute at our Panvel. So they have, since they are autonomous institute, some of the programs of MIT they have put into their syllabus in their institute here, and we are trying to see how we spread that across our regions. We have also collaborated with many institutes in India, professional institute like uh, insurance institute, like banking institute, like stock exchange, etc., for trying to take some of the programs into our institutes, which will help our management students or our postgraduate students to be studying and be ready for whatever is available or whatever is their part of the academics beyond that. So they cross the border and they go beyond what's there in syllabus and as suggested by various universities. So those are some of the things which we are trying to do, and we are also looking at trying to increase our footprint into research work into various institutes. We have PhD faculty or PhD students into various streams, including engineering places, management, and both the Institute of Engineering and Management here, business management at Mumbai. So we are trying to see how we are able to contribute to the society in specific SDGs 4 for quality education, and how do we spread that across the communities. One specific thing I would want to talk about is, apart from the education and the curriculum and languages, etc., which I talked about, our institutes are also getting into a lot of extracurricular or outside the curriculum and syllabus kind of thing. They get into a lot of project work. They get into environmental project. They get into the project where social services there. They get into project where they are able to do scientific innovation kind of display their acumen there on language, various things. So that, and I don't think in short time I'll be able to talk about many of the specific incidents where they have showcased uh, their innovative skills or their understanding or their educational uh, gains which they have gained across various platforms and won awards both within India and internationally also. Some of them have won. We represented India at some of the competitions which were outside India and within India, and our students have won second prize uh, at some places, third prize at some places, and within India we have won first prize, second prize, and we are happy to say that some of our students. Especially, I talked about STEAM for Atal Tinkering. There is lab, so we were the first ones to be selected to represent India outside India in a competition. So there are many such things which are there across our institutes, and it's the philosophy institutes, and more than the philosophy institute, the dedication and the personal commitment of our heads of institutes like principals, directors, and also all the faculty members like professors, teachers, assistant professors, etc. They have been continuously working on these lines, and that's how our students get prepared to get into competitive arena and come out with flying colors into competition within India and outside India wherever they go. And currently, we are also talking to various institutes. And incidentally, Dr. Ramo Salo, who is present today and who has given us keynote address, we are discussing with him how do we collaborate with his university in Finland, and we are at an advanced stage of signing an agreement. Uh, Likewise, we are also talking to some other institutes and universities where we'll be able to collaborate so that best practices from those countries and those universities or institutes are brought here, and how we try to merge them into our curriculum or our institutes seamlessly. The idea is that we get some of our faculties or heads of institutes engage with these things, like what we did in MIT, and what we are trying to do with Olo University. So some key leaders would get initially engage with them, and they'll bring what's more relevant to us. They'll be able to pick up right things, and they'll be able to design those things for our institute specifically, so that what we talk about doesn't look Greek or doesn't sound Greek to our students here. They are able to relate it in a way it is required to be related. That's the role our representatives do when they attend programs at international universities or international institutes, and bring them back for specific requirements of our institutes. So I think more than uh, out of 97 institutes, I think I talked about first time learners of around 40 to 50%. And I would also like to touch upon that more than 50% of the first time learners who are there, they are also not able to pay their fees of schools, and some of them are also not able to buy books. So we have and a trust, a program which is Sahara program, and all our schools, institutes, the people working there, faculty, principals, teachers, our trustees, our well-wishers, they all try and raise funds so that these people who are not able to afford education, we are able to provide that education. We are without them trying to get stressed about it. So some of the people who come, who work in the afternoon at different places, and in the morning they come and learn from our institutes. So that's how we are trying to spread education and quality education to the larger community within India. And also, whatever background they come, I'm also very feel proud to share that many of our alumni from various institutes are at very, very high positions into various organizations and corporations within India and outside India, in MNCs and all kinds of, whether it is capital goods manufacturing, whether it is FMCG, whether it is IT, whether it is service industry, whether it is hospitality industry, all the places. So thank you everybody for joining this conference, international conference, and all the best to all of you, including participants and the organizers. And thank you, HB B.Ed College participants and heads, and also Manjira Charitable Education Institutes for being being collaborators and partners with Anjuman Islam for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shoaib Rais, for inspiring us with the institutional developments at Anjuman Islam, be it curricular or non-curricular, and for your words of wisdom and your encouragement to our participants who are present online or offline. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants who are present here, and I would formally conclude this inaugural session by inviting Dr. Savita Sabri, Principal of MCT's College of Education and Research, to offer the formal vote of thanks. Ma'am, please. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sabir. Distinguished guests, Dr. Raimo Salo, Educator, Olu University, Mr. Shoaib Rais, Honorable Joint Secretary, Anjuman Islam, Heads of Schools and Colleges, Dr. Swarnlata Harichandan, Principal, SBB College of Education and Research, Dr. Asma, a learned accommodation and valued participants. It's indeed a matter of great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this significant occasion of International Conference on Empowering Quality Education for All, Innovations, Research, and Global Collaborations for Achieving SDG 4. At the outset, I extend my profound gratitude to our extreme keynote speaker, Dr. Raimo Salo, for his enlightening and thought-provoking address, for sharing such an insightful case study on pedagogical methods in supporting newly arrived students' learning. So your presentation has illuminated practical strategies and innovative approaches. The three phases pedagogical method tripod actually guide us, fostering inclusive learning environment across diverse contexts. We deeply appreciate the international perspectives you brought to this conference, which enriched our collective understanding and inspired us to reflect more critically on how education can truly empower every learner. On behalf of the organizing committee and all participants, Thank you for your valuable contribution and for engaging with us meaningfully. Your work will continue to resonate beyond this session and shape future practices in education. We also wish to acknowledge the absence of President Dr. Honorable Dr. Ravi, whose presence and address we deeply miss today. While circumstances prevented him from joining us, we remain grateful for his guidance and leadership in shaping the vision of this conference. We also wish to acknowledge and sincerely thank Mr. Shoaib Rice, Honorable Joint Secretary, for graciously delivering the address. Sir, your words carried the spirit of leadership and provided valuable guidance to this gathering. I would like to place on record our deep sense of gratitude to Dr. Asma Sheikh, Organizing Secretary, for the collaboration and hosting the venue, Anjuman Islam's Seminar Hall, and the meticulous planning to conduct this international conference and her commitment in bringing this conference to fruition. I also extend heartfelt thanks to the management of all our collaborating institutions, Anjuman Islam, Akbar Birbhai College of Education, HBBA College of Education, and MCT's College of Education and Research for supporting this valuable partnership and collaborating with a collaboration of cluster colleges. I would be failing in my duty if I did not acknowledge the dedicated efforts of the organizing committee, technical team, and volunteers who tirelessly ensure the seamless execution of this inauguration event in a hybrid mode. Finally, I extend my gratitude to each one of you for your esteemed presence and active participation, which have contributed to the success of inauguration ceremony of this conference. And anticipating the same spirit will be reflected by our team in successful completion of 2 days international conference. With this note, I conclude my vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. We now officially come to an end of the inaugural session. We take a 10 minutes break and come back by 12 noon to attend the technical session that follows. Thank you, everybody. In the meantime, Dr. Rania could check her slides. Ma'am, am I audible to you? Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. So warm greetings from Grace, everyone. I'm very, very honored to be invited here to this international conference. I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all organizers.
Ma'am, we only need to check your PPT if it is working.
Okay, okay. Is it visible now?
Dr. Rania, I would like to have your attention, please. This is a break time, and this is just for your trial. If you can display your presentation to check whether it's all the technical part is working well, seamlessly.
Okay, perfect. If I have shared now, I don't know if it's visible.
What time are we? It's actually 8 minutes.
And it's moving also? It's
Yes,
moving.
we are able to see your screen. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible and you're audible clear.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Twelve 30.
After 12:30, we will have your session.
Ma'am, Dr. Rania, we will have your session at 12:30. So IST. So there are 30, you have 35 minutes, ma'am. We will have your session after 35 minutes. Am I audible to you, ma'am? Ma'am, you'll have to unmute yourself. Dr. Rania Lampo, please unmute yourself and speak.
He's not there. No, here he is. She has there. Is that? She's there.
Miss Afia Riaz, ma'am, could you please check your audio and if you are able to present your PPT?
Hello, good morning. I can clearly hear you. Shall I start presenting and check if it's visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
And everything is clearly visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we
Okay,
start
brilliant.
5 minutes with you.
Yeah, brilliant. And I wanted to ask, will I become a host so that I can make a breakout room?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Miss Afia? Miss Afia, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are clearly audible.
So, you able to share your PPT or breakout room? You can see the breakout room. You're getting the breakout room options are there
Uh,
because you have co-host now.
yes, I can see the option, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Should I join me to a breakout room or the wait? I'm running along.
Hello, Dr. Rania. During the presentation, I'll assign the breakout rooms, and when you get that assigned, you will automatically join that room and you will automatically come out of that. So it would be after like some time.
Miss Afia, am I audible?
Yes, Miss, you are. Thank
You
you.
can start, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Afia Riaz Mohammed, and I'm here for an amazing opportunity presented to me by the organizing team. So a big thank you to the Cluster College District Thane and Anjuman Islam Akbar Pir Boy College of Education, HB B.Ed College, and MCT College of Education and Research for bringing us all together to share best practices and ensure that we take forward integrating SDG 4 into our curriculum. Also, thank you to the enlightening and inspiring keynote speakers, Dr. Ramo Salo and Dr. Zahir Kazi and Mr. Shoaib Rais. It was indeed inspiring to listen to all the great things education and teacher training institutes are doing to ensure we all get the best for our children. Let's begin. I am based in UK, and from my experience and from my own academia experience, I'm here to bring the best practices and some information you might feel useful. So what is inclusion? So we have different definitions of inclusion, and we have seen how it has now moved from not just a word but to something in our real life and in our proximity. So it is simply defined as support for disadvantaged learners to reduce learning gaps and achieve fairer educational access. But if you talk about what is disadvantaged learner, then it becomes a very broad topic to discuss who are exactly these disadvantaged learners. And also, with NEP 2020, the word equity and inclusion has been repeated so many times, affirming that educational quality cannot advance without addressing disparities or affecting rural learners or socioeconomically disadvantaged students or tribal communities. So, gendered barriers, disability needs, and linguistic diversity, as cited in this paper. So when we talk about NEP also, equity and inclusion are broadly classified into the categories you can see. But are we aware of them? As teachers, as principals, as school leaders, do you know your learner? That's my question to you. So this is how a visual representation of inclusion might look like in a classroom. So we all have been here as teachers, and when we were starting our careers, our seating plan, our classroom plan might have looked somewhat one of these images. So we have seen what is exclusion. We have seen how we try to segregate based on their learning abilities, how we then try to integrate them based on their common attributes. We do try to bring in inclusion, but my question to you is think about, have we reached the stage of unification? Is your classroom, your teaching ability unified? That's my question to you to ponder upon. Now, I would like everybody to take just maybe 1 or 2 minutes and quickly scan this QR code.
Miss
And
Afia, Miss Afia,
yes, miss.
sorry to disturb you, but your slide is not changed on the screen.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
hold on.
Let me. Yeah. Can you see the QR code, miss?
Yes, yes.
So I'll just go back. Sorry. Was this slide visible?
That QR code slide is now visible.
Okay. Mm. Is it what?
What is the inclusion slide now is visible?
Okay. Was it not happening from the beginning? Shall I start again quickly?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Sure.
So we have seen what is inclusion. I have briefly talked about what inclusion looks like, and there is a broad definition to it. We can tag it with one word, that is disadvantaged learners. But a lot of things come under that broad definition. NEP talks about equity and inclusion, and equity is more about how we ensure as teachers that any circumstances of the child doesn't hamper their opportunity to learn. And NEP has stressed that a lot of times. Then this is what inclusion classroom looks like, an inclusive classroom looks like, wherein you can see how at some point we have seen what exclusion is. We have excluded children based on their abilities. We have segregated them based on their knowledge and how much they are able to learn. And then we try to integrate them with our classroom strategies. And that's when integration and inclusion is somewhat, you can align them to some extent. But have we reached the unification stage? Now I would like everybody to scan the QR code if that's visible.
No, ma'am, your QR is not visible. And please play the slides so that the slide is coming in complete. Otherwise, your desktop version of your Canva is looking. Yeah, play, yes. And keep your video on, ma'am, so that your face is also visible while you speak.
Okay. Just a second.
Ma'am, still your slide is not playing. Yeah, you are visible on video now. Yes. Present. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I am moving my slides here, but
ma'am, the arrow button that is below where your cursor, the arrow button, please maximize. Play करेंगे, हाँ. It's okay, ma'am. Ma'am, continue. It's okay. It's visible. Your QR is visible.
okay. Thank you. So I would like everybody to just take a minute and scan the QR code. And I would like you to think about who struggles in your classroom to participate completely. I don't want to name any child. I want you to think about what stops them from engaging completely in your classroom. So think about their participation. I want to think about engagement and pupil success. And I just want one or two words from your end. Yes, I can see some answers. So they are students, myself. Any more answers? Who else struggles in your classroom? Okay, so again, a lot of them might have the same thinking as students, but have you thought about why is your student struggling to participate in the classroom? Is the student ready for the lesson, or is the student ready for the day to begin with? So that's what we are going to think about, and that's the basic input of talking about inclusion. So let's see a video about how exclusion feels like. Miss, can you see the video on the screen?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is it still not? Is it now visible, ma'am?
The video screen is visible, but video is not playing.
Yeah, I'll just start. I wanted to make sure is it working or not.
Play, madam. That video is not playing.
I have played it, ma'am, but I think it's not. Is it okay that I start again later and we start with another keynote, another panelist, I mean, and then they can
Yes,
continue
yes,
first?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Miss Afia? Ma'am? Miss
Yes,
Afia?
miss?
Uh,
Yes, miss?
you just switch off your presentation.
Okay.
Stop that presentation.
Yeah, I have stopped it completely.
No, ma'am. It is stop.
I think it's lagging because I'm not playing, like I have escaped, like I have cleared my whole screen.
Stop sharing. Stop sharing, ma'am. Just. Dr. Ania, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. You're
You
audible.
are ready?
Yes, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, okay.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty, and dear students. I am Renu Singh, faculty of MCT's College of Education and Research. Feel privileged to introduce Professor Dr. Rania Lampo, a globally acclaimed STEM educator, researcher, keynote speaker, and peace ambassador from Greece. Dr. Rania is currently associated with Greek Ministry of Education and serves as a STEM instructor at Greece Astronomy and Space Society. She has made remarkable contributions to education, innovation, and teaching training worldwide. She is the founder of international coordinator of several innovative projects aligned with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially focusing on underprivileged learners, and has delivered over 4,000 lectures and training sessions across the globe. Dr. Rania is proud recipient of Global Teacher Award for consecutive 3 years and a finalist of Global Teacher Prize 2019. She has also been honored over 200 national and international awards. Furthermore, Dr. Rania is distinguished academician, social activist, and editorial board member of reputed journals and continues to contribute significantly to research, global collaboration, and peace initiatives. Her journey is true example of excellence, dedication, and global influence in education. Let us extend a warm and enthusiastic welcome to Dr. Rania Lampo. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction of distinguished dignitaries and esteemed colleagues and educators and dear students and participants from across the globe. I'm very honored to be invited here. I would like to warmly welcome all of you, me too. This is the national conference. I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all organizers and warmly thank you for the kind invitation, Dr. Savita Sablin and Dr. Savati Sethi. Before starting sharing my presentation, just I would like to say that UN SDG 4 reminds us of a shared global commitment, which is to ensure this inclusive, equitable, quality education, promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. And this vision goes far beyond literacy or school enrollment. It's something that calls for systems that empower people throughout every stage of life, from early childhood to adulthood, enable individuals and communities to adapt, to innovate and thrive. And of course, as we're going to see, building sustainable lifelong learning ecosystems requires collaborations across sectors, generations, governments, institutions, industry leaders, civil society organizations, communities, and learners themselves. All have a role to play. So together, we must create environments where education is flexible, is skill-based, of course, is digitally connected, is socially inclusive, and responsive to future needs. And of course, we must also recognize that sustainability in education is not only about infrastructure or policy, it's about people. It's about ensuring that no learner is left behind because of geography or disability or gender, economic debate. It's about cultivating curiosity, creativity, critical thinking, and compassion as lifelong capacities. So thank you once again for being here, and I will start sharing now my presentation. You allow me. I hope it's visible now. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am, your presentation is visible.
Is it moving also? It's moving? Yes, I think it's moving. Okay, thank you. I'm working as the Greek Minister of Education, as the attached teacher from 2017, Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation. We're working a lot on programs on about innovative teaching, and already in the Greek Ministry of Education, I have launched the first STEM workshops and cybersecurity programs in order to help students who are suffering a lot. In Greece, unfortunately, we have high rates of cyberbullying and problems of violence. So the best practices in Greece, first one has to do with public education. You won't find here private universities, for example. There's a strong emphasis on how we should promote education as a public good. The high value placed on learning and academic achievements, so education is deeply embedded in Greek cultural life. Families often invest heavily in children's education. This means though they invest a lot financially and maintain close involvement with schools to try to encourage multilingualism. Already students here start learning foreign language at a very young age, very early, and support strong study habits. So this cultural aspect for learning contributes to high university participation rates and strong motivation among students. Inclusive education practices, Greek schools increasingly use inclusion-oriented approaches because in Greece we have a great number of refugees. many years now, which makes the smooth integration of these children more and more difficult. So we talk about multicultural societies, multicultural classrooms. So important practices here include, we have integration classrooms, the parallel support teachers for students with special education needs, individualized educational planning, intercultural roles education programs for refugee and migrant students. We helped a lot with the students from Ukraine, from the war zones. And school psychologists also, which are integrated in every school and multidisciplinary support system. So these reforms align with broader European inclusive education principles. So since the refugee arrivals of 2010, Greece has developed important experience in multicultural education. So successful practices include reception classes for non-Greek speaking students, the Greek language support systems, the cultural mediation, collaboration with NGOs and international organizations, the anti-racism and diversity projects. So many schools now have experience supporting multilingual classrooms. One commonly recognized strength of Greek schools is the relational aspect of teaching, because teachers often maintain close communication with families. They know students personally, they support students emotionally, they create strong classroom communities. And in smaller towns, especially in the islands, I was very lucky because I worked in a remote island of Greece. I was appointed to a remote island. Schools there can function as important community centers. I mentioned about the early foreign language learning. Greek students often begin foreign language learning early, especially English, French, German, and increasingly other European Union languages. Many students reach relatively strong English proficiency due to both school instruction but supplemental language institutes. And of course, we know the strong and rich Greek cultural heritage. So we must mention the classical humanistic foundations, because Greek education preserves strong humanities traditions. Students study a lot of history, literature, philosophy, and the emphasis on historical and civil education remains central to the curriculum. Growing use of digital education, I'm going to show you what we have here, the Learning Repository, a huge programs which cost millions, and community and cultural integration. Schools frequently participate in local cultural festivals, in environmental projects, etc. I mentioned about the high rates of increased use of social media and high rates also of bullying. So our focus is on social emotional learning and in order to encourage emotional literacy, the peer collaboration, the mental health awareness, and democratic school culture. Of course, there are challenges still remain. Sometimes there's a heavy exam orientation, the limited classroom flexibility, the issue of bureaucracy, administrative centralization, but of course there is a progress. So the key word I could say here nowadays is the national collaboration, as this is what we're doing now, this conference will change our best practices, because this is related with resource mobilization, very important, and capacity building, and data sharing, and accountability mechanism, and coordinated humanitarian response. So what mechanism exists in order to ensure the best practices in global education reform? International organizations, of course, and policy frameworks like UNESCO, the national assessment and benchmarking, because large-scale assessments like the PISA assessments, international competitions, which actually show now, from the COVID period of the COVID pandemic till now, they show very disappointing results for students all around the world. Results show low performance of students worldwide. So large-scale assessments help countries do what? Compare performance, identify effective practices. So programs like this, like PISA, allow countries to benchmark student achievement globally, and results often lead to policy, borrowing, or adaptation of successful strategies from high-performing systems. The global conference, of course, education summits, ministerial meetings, UNESCO Global Education Monitor report, discussions, regional policy forums in Africa, Asia, and Europe. These spaces support direct knowledge exchange and collaboration. The research network, because Universities and research institutions share findings through peer-reviewed journals in education, through international research partnerships, through comparative education studies. And this helps identify what works across different cultural and economic contexts. Increasingly, countries in Global South share practices directly with each other rather than relying only on high-income countries. And this includes teacher training, exchange, curriculum development partnerships, regional policy initiatives. And digital platforms, open resources. Europe invests a lot on open educational resources and online policies. Online policy database toolkits and global education knowledge hubs and virtual training programs. So here, what we can see is the national collaboration in Europe is mainly driven by initiatives that promote student mobility, joint research, academic partnerships, institutional cooperation across countries. So the most important framework is Erasmus, I guess is well known. Erasmus Plus, which supports student and staff exchanges, joint degrees, vocational education partnerships, school collaborations, youth and sports initiatives. This program has a budget of more than 26 billions from 2021 to 2027, and focuses strongly on inclusion, on digital transformation, sustainability, and international cooperation. And of course, a major initiative is the European education area, which aims to create a more connected and inclusive education system across Europe by improving recognition of qualifications, the first one, encouraging multilingualism, because we talk about multicultural societies, increasing mobility opportunities, strengthening digital education, and supporting lifelong learning. So key forms of the national collaboration includes how we can exchange semesters abroad, internships, short-term blended mobility programs, the joint research projects, the dual joint degrees, the shared curricula, the European University Alliances. In terms of research cooperation, it's about Horizon Europe Research Fund. Horizon are programs of billions. It includes many partners. Maybe you can find more than 20 or 30 countries and partners involved. Cross-border scientific collaboration, innovation networks between universities and industry. In terms of school and vocational cooperation, it's about more vocational training partnerships and teacher exchanges and global collaboration beyond Europe, because Europe also collaborates with non-European Union countries through the national Erasmus Plus partnerships and the Study in Europe initiatives. So benefits, of course, of all this collaboration include improved educational quality, the cultural understanding, stronger employability skills, innovation in teaching and research, and stronger European integration. Here, twinning are very popular collaborative programs which are implemented between teachers of the same country or teachers from different countries. The European Schoolnet, it's the #1 platform which offers free MOOCs to students, to teachers, and it's very, very useful. It serves as an innovation hub. Scientix is a community for science educators, for STEM teachers. And then some examples of this project, for example, Areti is augmented reality project. All these are collaborative projects, of course. Teach Euro project, it's about citizenship, and many other examples here which show the power of a collaboration. So the challenges, of course, what are the challenges in transferring successful education models between countries? Yes, because, for example, we say we know that Finland has the best education system in the world. So how we can transfer this education model? So what are the problems? Educational systems, remember, are deeply shaped by cultural expectations about learning, authority, in childhood. So a model that works well in Finland, where is the there's high trust in teachers, for example, strong social equality norms, may not translate well to systems with more competitive or more exam-driven cultures. In some countries, also parents expect strict discipline and high-stakes testing. In others, collaboration and autonomy are prioritized. So these differences actually affect how policies are received and implemented in practice. And of course, education systems are embedded in different political administrative frameworks. Centralized systems can implement reforms quickly, but many may struggle with local adaptation. On the other hand, decentralized systems, like in parts of the United States, may have innovation at local levels, but inconsistent implementation. So a successful model often depends on governance structures that are not easy transferable. The resource availability inequality. Many high-performing systems rely on conditions that are difficult to replicate. The high teacher salaries and strong training pipelines, the low levels of socioeconomic inequality, the robust early childhood education systems. For example, systems like Singapore perform strongly in the national comparisons, partly due to sustained investment in teacher development and centralized curriculum design, features not easily reproduced elsewhere in scale. And of course, teachers are the key implementers of any reform, and their training, status, and autonomy vary widely. So challenges include differences in teacher education standards, resistance many times to imported pedagogical approaches, lack of ongoing professional development, and even well-designed reforms can fail if teachers are not fully supported or do not buy into underlying philosophy. In terms of curriculum, a common problem here is importing one part of a system without its supporting structures. For example, a country may adopt a curriculum from a high-performing system, but keep its old high-stakes exams. This creates misalignment, where teaching practices contradict assessment incentives. And research shows that systems only work well when curriculum, instruction, and assessment are aligned. Socioeconomic equity conditions. High-performing systems often operate in contexts with lower child poverty rates, strong social safety nets, with more equal access to healthcare and early education. So without similar conditions, important reforms may not produce the same outcomes because students begin from a very different starting points. The policy borrowing versus adaptation problem. So comparative education research warns against the direct copying of policies, what we call policy borrowing. A model that works in one country is usually embedded in historical context. It's supported by informal norms, and it is dependent on long-term institutional trust. So when all these things are transferred, these hidden supports often are missing, leading, of course, to weaker results. Even also, if a reform is well designed, it may be implemented inconsistently across regions or schools. So scaling up can dilute quality. Initial pilot success may not generalize nationally, and this is a frequent reason reforms that look successful in case studies fail at scale. Political sustainability, educational reforms require long time horizon. Political cycles, of course, are short, and challenges include policy reversal after elections. I'm saying this because usually what is happening, for example, in Greece, my country, every time that we have a new minister, there's a new policy. So this does not help with the continuity in education and in policy reform. The bottom line is that research in comparative education shows that there are very few, we could say, plug-and-play education models. Success depends less on copying or a system and more on adapting principles to local culture, institutions, resources, and incentives. What about digital platforms? Of course, all these tools now, amazing tools that we have at our disposal, especially the use of AI. I could say in Greece, our ministry recently signed a contract with OpenAI, so we provide free ChatGPT Edu in higher education, and also we signed a contract with Microsoft for senior high school students on a pilot basis. Of course, this will work. We're going to see the results. And the open access of course, all repositories here which make research findings available, the shared research platforms like GitHub, which allow researchers to share the datasets, the code, computational models. This improves reproducibility. This enables peer review beyond traditional journals and allows others to build directly on existing work. The academic networking and discovery, so networks like ResearchGate and Scholar help researchers discover collaborators, the AI accessibility tools, etc. So in Greece, we have our digital educational policy is aligned with the digital agenda, the European digital agenda. We talk about systems now, which our system is called Photovedro. It's a learning object repository which hosts thousands of lesson plans which are uploaded by teachers. So it serves as a repository. It's an innovation hub also. We try to promote open educational resources and at the same time, here we have the aggregator, the content aggregator, which harvests, accumulates educational metadata from various repositories, collections, museums, libraries, etc. So it's a huge infrastructure. Here now we have integrated also new subjects, AI and STEM. In the UK, we have the first university AI, the first AI school classroom, and we talk about teacherless school, which has sparked debates all around the world because obviously it's something promising and scary at the same time. It works on a pilot basis. We're going to see the results. In India, also, I think there is the first AI university there, I think in Kerala. And what is interesting to see is that although we are in a period when European Union invests billions in to schools in AI education programs, so schools are going to implement AI programs. At the same time, we have countries like Sweden, for example, and also other countries are following, would say that we're going back, we return to old textbooks. What happened now? Sweden is one of the most tech-savvy countries of the world. They integrated smartphones, tablets already very early, already at the preschool age. So during this period, the last years, they realized that students have started to lose their handwriting skills, the mathematical skills, research skills. I mentioned the low results, the disappointing results of PISA nowadays for students. So they announced that they're going to reduce the use of digital technology. I think they have already removed the use of technology in preschool age. And there are some cases also they return to old textbooks. Of course, I'm not saying that this is a best solution, but banning something is not the solution. But that we need to say is that we need to find the golden line, silver line here, and try to help students navigate the complex world of the current cyber landscape, especially the AI. How to teach them to become responsible, wise, and ethical users of AI. Otherwise, we will lose the game. Because already, there are experts of European policy frameworks who were the first who recommended the use of digital technology in the classroom. And now, after the pilot period, they say that we are wrong. We shouldn't insist so much on the use of technology. And the issue of global inequality, another big issue, because here we talk about countries, for example, higher income levels tend to dominate in the national education initiatives because they can fund large-scale programs, because they can contribute expertise and technology, they can influence the global policy frameworks. And by contrast, lower income countries often participate as recipients rather than equal partners, especially in programs led by organizations such as UNESCO or the World Bank. And this creates an imbalance where cooperation can resemble aid dependency rather than mutual exchange. And global inequality directly affects basic educational capacity. Of course, the teacher training, retention, access to learning materials, the issue of digital divide. Some countries fully participate in global academic exchange. The agenda setting power is uneven. There's, for example, curriculum priorities, time priorities, time emphasis, assessment standards, research funding directions. the brain drain, and this, of course, educational cooperation, which includes scholarships and exchange programs, it's something positive. But while this creates opportunities, they can also reinforce inequality through brain drain, what is happening a lot in my country. The best minds are leaving because of the low salaries, for instance. The brain drain, where highly educated individuals from lower income countries remain in wealthier states after studying abroad. So this reduces the long-term benefits of cooperation for the countries mostly needing for capacity building. And at the same time, inequality drives, of course, cooperation. It is important to note that the global inequality does not only hinder the cooperation, but also motivates it. This is the paradox, because much major international initiatives exist precisely to reduce disparities, such as education funding programs, teacher training partnerships, and global development goals. So without inequality, much of this cooperation would not be urgent or extensive. The student and national exchange programs, of course, it's something that is very useful. And in terms for teachers now, teacher-led research can improve classroom innovation learning outcomes through evidence. What we need is evidence-based decision making. This is the first one. So this may include student research results, observation of engagement, feedback from learners. This helps teachers identify what actually works for their specific students, not just what works in theory. Teacher-led research promotes a cycle of planning a change, trying in the classroom, collecting evidence, reflecting on results, refining practice. So this ongoing reflection leads to continuous professional growth and more responsive teaching. Innovation teaching methods, because teachers are actively experimenting, they are more likely to try new teaching strategies, to integrate technology in meaningful ways, to redesign assessments for better engagement, to adapt lessons for diverse learners. This makes classrooms more dynamic and innovative. It improves student engagement and outcomes, so better academic performance, better understanding. It supports more inclusive and targeted teaching strategies because this helps uncover, teachers' research helps uncover actually barriers to learning, patterns in student behavior, differences in how students learn best. Builds teacher professionalism and collaboration, bridges the gap between research, of course, and practice. So brings research actually into everyday teaching, ensures that findings are practical, context-specific, and helps translate theory into action. Of course, there are challenges remain, resources. I think the most important challenge is sufficient teacher training all around the world. Teachers report often limited training in inclusive education strategies worldwide, the digital pedagogy, the competency-based or learner-centered approaches, assessment for learning rather than just assessment of learning, and of course, all the other issues, the mental well-being. We can see all around the world the trend now. Many more and more teachers are resigning because the professional teaching is becoming more and more difficult. Of course, continuous professional development is something very important, and here the role of pedagogical innovation is important. It includes equitable education, how we can adapt learning to diverse student needs, because the one size fits all approach doesn't work. So methods here like a differentiated instruction, the project-based learning, the universal design for learning help ensure that students who traditionally struggle in rigid systems can still participate meaningfully. Increasing participation and engagement and innovative approaches are particularly important for students with disabilities, for rural or low-income learners, for refugees or displaced students and linguistic minorities. For example, assistive technologies and inclusive classroom strategies make it possible for students with disabilities to access the same curriculum as their peers. Leveraging technology for equity, so remote access to education, multilingual resources. This, of course, depends on infrastructure. How to shift the teachers' roles and improve pedagogy quality. Pedagogical innovation often involves retraining teachers to become facilitators rather than just content deliverers. So this can improve response to transformative assessment, allow more personalized support. And encouraging critical thinking. Of course, innovative pedagogies often emphasize discussion, reflection, real-world problem solving, because this helps students not only develop academic skills, but also empathy, civic awareness, and the ability to work across differences, important components, of course, all these important components of long-term social inclusion. So, teachers can integrate technology through all these methods to start with learning objectives. The object is not technology, it's learning objectives. And teacher collaboration networks also is important, professional learning communities, as we say, where we can share our best practices. How to integrate SDG into curriculum across faculties. Here we can see the benefits of the disciplinary approaches are evident because the disciplinary learning is actually something which is integrated in the, officially in the Greek curriculum, in the disciplinarity, because it's about deeper understanding of concepts. It encourages students, of course, to reflect real-life situations, which are rarely single subject. Universities, how universities can redesign curricula to align with sustainable development goals is to try to integrate SDG across all disciplines. So sustainability should not be limited. For example, environmental science should be embedded across subjects, adopt interdisciplinary learning in general. Problem-based learning, embed sustainability learning outcomes and assessment, very important. So align SDGs by revising problem learning outcomes, by assessment tasks, by creating criteria that include ethical and sustainability considerations, promote active and experiential learning, encourage student-led sustainability initiatives, develop faculty training, etc. The challenges, of course, remain. This has to do with crowding, fragmentation across subjects. That's why I'm saying that the disciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, transdisciplinarity even best. And teacher preparedness and confidence, the assessment difficulties, the value of political sensitivity, competing priorities, standardized systems. So here, experiential learning is important. Because it emphasizes meaningful learning, relevant learning, and experiential approaches help students apply theory to practice. So across the faculties, engineering students can develop sustainable infrastructure on energy systems. Business students work on ethical supply chains, or health sciences students engage in community health outreach, etc. The importance of course, global citizenship. It's obvious, and many European projects are focusing a lot on this nowadays, how to help students be active and responsible citizens. Strategic leadership, also for educational excellence. What defines strategic leadership here in the context of SDG implementation, the systems thinking, because education systems are complex, involving teachers, curricula, infrastructure, technology, governance, communities, data-driven decision-making also, equity-focused decision-making, and of course, adaptability and innovation. So education leaders, what they can do in order to promote the structural transformation towards quality education. They must define, they need a vision, they need a clear vision, must define and communicate a shared vision of quality education that includes equity and inclusion, strong learning outcomes, alignment with global goals. And of course, transformation depends heavily on teachers, so leaders can provide ongoing training and coaching, encourage peer collaboration and mentoring, support reflective practice, promote inclusive learner-centered practices, improve assessment systems. Very important now, nowadays, we talk more and more about new assessment methods, so alternative assessment methods possible through portfolios, through projects, through presentations, more fair and culturally responsive evaluation practices. And this helps helps ensure actually assessment supports learning rather than limits it. So building in general a positive school culture using data in order to identify learning gaps, to target resources effectively. AI can help us in this, monitor progress towards improvement goals. Ensuring the social location equity, other leadership models that we know already as educators, and of course, school university leaders ensure equity and inclusive decision-making by including diverse voices in decision-making structures. All stakeholders should be involved by distributing leadership and avoid centralized decision-making by creating safer and structured participation channels, etc. So ensure transparency, equitability, and usually the barriers has to do with here with political stability, with limited funding, with weak institutional capacity. Bureaucracy is the main problem in Greece, in my country. The limited stakeholder participation and external dependency in some systems. Corruption, of course, is there. And how to align education with SDG 4, how to build a sustainable lifelong learning ecosystems, shift from content delivery to skill development, create more flexible learning pathways, integrate technology, and reform assessment, certification, align policy with global frameworks. Digital technologies will know the benefits, the strategies ensure sustainability in lifelong learning frameworks. The strong policy legal frameworks starts from national policies, of course. More flexible inclusive learning pathways, continuous teacher training development, aligned with labor market. Another problem here in Greece, for example, families encourage students, encourage children to follow academic career pathways, not technical, for example, professions. So that's why vocational education is underestimated here in Greece. The problem is this, that students are managing to have a high rate of students graduates with bachelor degrees, academic degrees, but they are unemployed because there is a misalignment, a mismatch with labor market and social needs. So partnerships, community engagement, and of course, the role of community-based learning, lifelong education. It's all about the communities because here we promote a lot of practical lifelong learning. So global challenges in building sustainable learning ecosystems, the digital divide, the policy fragmentation, the teacher shortages, burnout. We see how more and more teachers are resigning nowadays because of the low salaries, because of the pressure, because students are becoming more and more difficult to handle, because they're suffering from the challenges of the cyber world and family issues, all these problems. So let's not forget that teachers now have assumed multiple roles. There should be psychologists, there should be facilitators, mentors, advisors, everything. So we need training on this. And finally, for concluding, I should say that all of this, the national collaboration, teacher innovation, curriculum reform, and leadership, how they can support SDG 4 through teacher innovation, through collaboration, through curriculum reform, and through educational leadership. This is how they work together. Collaboration provides evidence, leadership adapts and organizes reforms locally. Curriculum reform defines what should be learned. Teacher innovation makes learning happen in the classrooms. So systemic changes is required to fully align education systems is reorient curricula towards sustainability, move from rote learning to competency-based education, improve equity, and monitor equitability systems also must evolve. Education systems can balance equity, quality, and stability at the same time, using equity as a guiding principle, and strengthen teacher capacity at the central level. Concluding, lifelong learning ecosystems should be resilient in times of crisis, if adaptable strategies, and if there are strong psychological and social support systems. This is the first one that is needed now. And apart from, digital learning infrastructure, I think there is all around the world, but what we need is the guidance, psychological support and guidance. I mentioned before about what's happening in Sweden. And quality education is the bridge between today's challenges and tomorrow's sustainable solution. Because education aligned with SDGs creates resilient communities. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm ready to discuss if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Henia, for such an insightful and enriching talk. It has certainly inspired us to think differently and work collectively towards the goal of SDG. Now we will move into the question answer session. So any question from participants?
Good afternoon. I hope Greece also is having a very warm good afternoon there. Thank you, Dr. Enya, for your insightful reflections on aligning education systems with SDG 4. Your emphasis on building lifelong learning ecosystems that integrate formal, non-formal, and informal opportunities has provided us with powerful vision of inclusive and equitable education. The clarity with which you highlighted the roles of collaboration, sustainability, and effective leadership has enriched our understanding and really think critically. Now, being a technological person, technological aligned person, I have a question. How can technology platforms be scaled responsibly to ensure they complement rather than replace human educators in lifelong learning ecosystems? Over to you.
Yes, this is a wonderful question, and of course, it has to do with AI now, how we can handle this challenge that I mentioned before. Okay, I mentioned the case of Sweden. They have started integrating digital technologies and smartphones and tablets already at the preschool age, and this didn't work. Didn't work because they have realized that the students are getting distracted, they're not focused, they have problems with the handwriting skills, and that's why all the recent studies say that we need to start to rethinking about the use of digital technologies. And I mentioned also that many experts who first introduced or who first recommended the excessive use of digital technology, now they say that this is wrong. So what I want to say here is that in order not for students to lose the creativity, the critical thinking, and take the best part of AI, this depends on how we use these tools. This depends on how we teach students to navigate this complex world, because here this has to do with ethical issues. Ethical issues because AI, it's a tool. It's first of all a partner. It's an assistant. So we need to be aware of transparency, of accountability. For instance, we have new methods of assessment. We promote a lot of the oral assessments now, more creative. For example, we can use AI as a brainstorm, as a starting point. Usually we use AI starting point, and then we try to engage students in debates, more simulations, in more critical thinking activities. We can use AI for project-based learning, etc. What I want to say is that everything depends on how we use these tools, and of course, this requires comprehensive AI literacy programs from the beginning. From the beginning, in every educational institution, we talk about research, for instance. In research, we need to be always in alignment with ethics review boards and committees, how to use the AI tools. So AI, all these tools can help students, for example, generate ideas when they feel stuck. This is good. They can get the story ideas for writing, we can get some project themes. We have virtual laboratories now. We can simulate medical surgeries, for example, in universities. So it works like a creative sparring partner, but not an answering machine. It will help with creative writing support. AI can help students develop writing skills by suggesting, for example, story openings, by offering different endings, by changing the tone, by helping expand vocabulary. But students should still choose, edit, and shape the final work themselves. For project-based learning, AI helps students design richer projects, science fair ideas, it could be storytelling projects, it could be social issue campaigns, more disciplinary work. So it encourages thinking across subjects, the disciplinary that I mentioned before, which is key for creativity. And students often, avoid creativity because they fear mistakes. AI helps in this. They can allow a quick experimentation, can help them provide instant drafts, make revision easier, support the diverse learners, so helps students who struggle with traditional methods, students with dyslexia. Students with dyslexia can express now their ideas through speech to text, or multilingual students can create in their own language first. Students with disabilities can use alternative creative tools. So this makes creativity more accessible to everyone. We need to acknowledge this positive side of AI. But AI can also reduce creativity if it's misused. So the risk is when students copy AI output without thinking, when ideas become too generic or too similar to machines, or when dependence replaces original thinking. So the rule is that AI should be used to spark ideas, not to finish all work. So the best educational approach, I would say the most effective model is student creativity first, then AI support, then student refinement, and then finally the final original work. This keeps humans at the center of creativity. So this is what I wanted to say, but still we're waiting to see the result because I mentioned in the UK we have the first UK school, the teacherless school. There are no teachers there. It is very scary. We're waiting to see how this will work. But everything depends on how we use them. Technology is amazing, but it depends on how we use the technology.
Thank you, Dr. Rania. Now we will go with the further session. Miss Afia.
Hello.
Miss Afia,
Hello, good morning.
are you ready for the presentation?
Yes. Do you want me to try one more time, share my screen, or you're
Yes.
happy to do that from your end?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to check, is it moving forward? Are my slides moving forward?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, brilliant. Welcome back, everybody, to my session on integrating SDG 4 into curricula across faculties, promoting inclusive and quality learning. My name is Afia Riaz Mohammed, and I'm presenting here from UK right now. And moving on to what is inclusion. So it is simply defined as a support for disadvantaged learners. And I have already talked about that this is a broad classification of what are disadvantaged learners. But our responsibility as educators is to reduce their learning gap and achieve, their full potential. NEP 2020 also affirms that equity and inclusion go hand in hand. But a lot of us confuse equality and equity. So there are two distinct features, and when you compile it with inclusion, that's where the role of educators, colleges, schools, higher education institutes come into play. And we have a very big responsibility in diminishing that disparity. So children coming from rural backgrounds or socially economic disadvantage backgrounds or tribal communities, gendered barriers, disability needs which are visible, linguistic barriers or linguistic disabilities, they all come under this particular umbrella of equity and inclusion. So how does inclusive education looks in the classroom? So we have all been in one of these stages. When you enter your classroom and when you look at your children, you might imagine them in one of these scenarios. There will be one or two children who will be in the integration stage. A few of them will be in the segregation stage based on their learning ability and what needs they have. But think about, have your classroom reached a unification stage? Have you made a lesson plan wherein the learning outcome of the pupil looks like the unification stage? So this slide makes you ponder upon how you do your lesson plan, how you deliver your lesson, what all strategies you use in your lesson plan, and is really your classroom an inclusive classroom. So I have told all of you to scan this QR code and give one word or one sentence answer to the question, who really struggles to fully take part in your classroom? And I have got some amazing answers which I want to share quickly. Let's see if I can share it with you. I think so, yes. Can everybody see my screen that it shows your responses? So people who are online, if you can see the responses, if you can just give me a thumbs up or a yes. Okay, so a lot of you have responded regarding students that they are shy, they are low in confidence, students with low self-esteem or low confidence, weak students, again, very broad terms. Weak in what? Their mental capacity, their intellectual capacity, their verbal capacity, their behavior capacity. जो बच्चा इंटेलेक्चुअली स्ट्रोंग है, हो सकता है वो वर्बली और बिहेवियरली वीक है, उसको एक्सप्रेस करना नहीं आता. So have you ever thought about all these things in your classroom? Basic problems, yes, we do have restrictions in classroom. We have time restrictions. We have to complete curriculum. Teachers face a lot of barriers as well, time barriers, resource barriers. So yes, we do have these barriers, and these are some of the reasons which stop us from being completely inclusive in our classroom. Now coming to my presentation. Okay. Now let us see what exclusion feels like. क्योंकि जब तक हम ये एहसास नहीं करेंगे, ये फील नहीं करेंगे कि what a child goes through, you will never understand what you need to bring to the table. So let me play a quick video for you all.
It's such a bank account that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the only numbers of some. Oh, is the saddest experience you'll ever know. Yes, it's the saddest experience you'll ever know.
Okay, now I want to ask people to just give one word or one sentence in the chat box about what you felt like after watching this video. You were the person who was walking in there, but there were people around you with visible disability. I'm stressing on this word, which is visible disability. What about the hidden or invisible disability, which we cannot see? क्या आपने अपने क्लासरूम में बच्चों के बारे में इस नजरिए से सोचा है? क्योंकि वो एक minority है, because they are minority in your classroom, we tend to not include them when we plan our lessons. So this video actually makes you realize that we have a long way to go to make our classrooms inclusive, but with all the help, with all the resources, we can make a difference. So let's move on to the next slide. We do think about inclusion, but my question to you again is, do we design for it? So in a classroom, when learning happens, the classroom setting, the education systems and services aren't built with everyone in mind. They quietly create barriers, frustrations, and isolations. Inclusion is not about special treatment to any visible disability. It's about thoughtful design for every learner, even with hidden disability. In our language, in our like teacher conversations, we say a slow learner, we say a hyperactive kid, we say अरे उसे तो बोलना ही नहीं आता है, उस वो तो उसकी तो लैंग्वेज ही नहीं समझती है. But do you know these can be actually diagnosed medical terminologies? जिस बच्चे को आप बोल रहे हो कि he is restless and distracted, he can be actually an ADHD child, which is not yet to be diagnosed. Even the parent doesn't know, even the child doesn't know. So it's not your responsibility to diagnose it, but it's your responsibility to find a way wherein he can access the education like other children. So when I talk about a hidden disability, it doesn't mean the child is in a wheelchair or the child is having a diagnosed disability. It can be something which is really simple and hidden from our eyes. So you have to consider all those children as well. Have you ever thought of who is missing in your classroom or who is struggling silently? Who had to adapt to your teaching? हम ये सोच के classroom में जाते हैं that, oh, I have prepared my lesson, I have all the resources, I'm going to have a fantastic day. But have you thought about the language you're using? Have you thought about the level of the children, the age group of the children you are meeting them or talking to them? Some teachers, some of us can be expert in our subjects, but are you expert in understanding and connecting with children? That's what I want to think about. And that's what is inclusion is often addressed at policy levels, but not at curriculum level. And a very simple reason is also understanding why that child is struggling. क्या वो घर से भूखा आया है? Has that child slept well at night? Why he's not paying attention? Did something happen back while he was coming to school? So all these tiny questions help you to set your class even before you start teaching. And that's where the SDG 4 goals come into action. A global commitment to inclusive education, wherein it aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all. And it mainly focuses on access, participation, and learning outcomes of the pupil. And when we talk about learning outcomes, it doesn't mean learning outcomes for you as a career-oriented teacher or an educator or a leader. It's about the highest potential a child can gain in your classroom. One size does not fit all, and that's the advanced mnemonic. So when you're thinking of an inclusive classroom, think about what the learner demands. All learners demand that their voice is heard. What do you think they will need support with, or giving them a chance to express and speak? A lot of our classrooms are all instruction based and one-sided, but are you taking the children's voice into consideration? Age should be taken into account, no matter in which class the child is learning. Is it secondary, college, university? The content should suit the age. The language should suit the age. Need is thought about. So what the child needs in that moment. How much time does he need to move from one classroom to another to access the next lesson? Is he getting distracted from going to the classroom to the computer lab or going from the classroom to the science lab? Did something happen in between there that has made the child upset? Or is he ready for the next lesson? Friendship issues, understanding sequencing of instructions. If you're giving too many instructions and work in one sentence, in one breath, just imagine how much that child or teenager or an adult is able to process. So pacing your language, making sure you are giving a thought in every action of yours. Cognitive ability and their level is considered. Can they read? Can they process information? In my personal experience, making slow learners sit in front was the solution. कि आप स्लो लर्नर को फर्स्ट बेंच पे बिठा दो, आपकी सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाती है. दैट्स नॉट द आंसर. हैज द चाइल्ड हैड ब्रेकफास्ट? क्या वो भूखा है? क्या उसको इतनी बड़ी इंग्लिश सेंटेंस समझ रही है? क्या उसको इतने बड़े न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम समझ रहा है? शायद उसको तो एडिशन करना भी नहीं आता. ही डजंट नो व्हाट इज 4 + 4, बट यू आर गिविंग हिम an addition which is 16 + 28. He doesn't know that, and you're expecting him or her to give an answer in that 30 minutes of your lesson. How is that possible? So give them time to process information. Emotional resilience. This is a major issue in a lot of teenagers and the new age children who have very short, we can say, focus time and emotional resilience. They give in easily at times. So we have to make sure that we are building that emotional resilience as well. So what does inclusion in practice looks like? So this is my classroom reality. So making the furniture movable, having different seating options, having quiet spaces to refocus. So as you can see in the picture that there is a group work where there are 4 chairs and the teacher can work one-to-one with a group of 8 to 10 children or 4 to 5 children depending upon your classroom size. And then there is a sensory tray in the center. So it's kind of a carousel activity wherein you keep moving from table to table. So these kind of activities reduce your input and give students the power to explore. And once they start exploring, that's when the advanced mnemonic already sets in action. So this is more student-centric classroom, I'd say. Again, हम लोग बोलेंगे कि oh, India में, like the classroom size is so big, how do we do that? You can definitely not do it every day, but at least a few times in a month, you can redesign your classroom in a way that it suits children. Some examples of visual timetable for slow learners. I remember somebody asked Dr. Ramio Dr. Ramio Salo about the individualized timetable. This is the example of an individualized timetable. So you can see on the left hand that you just have 2 things in front of the child because they cannot understand what is happening in the afternoon. They just need to know what is happening now. What are they going to study now? Again, if you don't have any of these resources, you just need a paper and a pen. On the paper, you just write now, you just write next, you write whatever subject you are teaching and what is next. That helps them stabilize and pay attention in that moment. The one on the right hand side is an individualized timetable again for a longer sequence of the day. And here, if you can see the child is having a different timetable in the afternoon as compared to the other children. So enrichment here means the choice of his interest. So the child will be learning some cooking, some playtime or some sports or some cricket activity, some movement activity, which is of his choice because that's the reward for the day. If he has achieved all those things from morning, then they move on to a self-learning, self-styled timetable. So these are the 2 examples of individualized timetables, which are visual, which are easy to understand. Again, in our concept, we do not ever consider behavior. हम सोचते ही नहीं है कि बच्चे को क्लासरूम रेडी हमें करना है। हम सोचते हैं वो स्कूल में आ गया है, द चाइल्ड इज इन स्कूल, ही इज रेडी टू लर्न एंड आई एम रेडी टू blabber it all out on him or her. We need to make sure that are they in the right emotional zone, are they regulated to listen to you, are they calm enough to listen and respond to you. So these are just a few examples. Again, they can be used with some of your children who have very high behavioral needs. जो हम बोलते हैं ना बहुत बदमाश है, सुनता नहीं है बच्चा, वो क्यों नहीं सुन रहा है? क्या आपने कभी जानने की कोशिश की है कि उसकी इमोशंस क्या है? Is he in the red zone, means angry or scared or out of control, or is he in the calm zone wherein he's actually ready to listen? And that's their toolbox, wherein they might need simple strategies, just a different place to sit, or a squeeze on their hand, or a fidget toy जिसके साथ वो सुन रहे हैं, but they are sitting with it and they are they are listening to you. हम बोलते हैं कि हमने टॉय दे दिया बच्चे के हाथ में तो वो सुन ही नहीं रहा है. But if you take away that toy, his whole focus is on now how to focus to listen to you, which makes him dysregulated. Then use of timers. This is again a very good strategy in classroom to give timers and help them learn about time management, and noise cancellation headphones. Again, this helps them to stay calm and focused. Sensory learning, again, a very good resource for primary learners, I'd say. You can try this with some higher learners as well, because बच्चों को explore करना अच्छा लगता है. तो हमने यहाँ पे, you can see in the first trait is a phonics lesson, and they are teaching p, the sound p. And you can see how they have kept the actual things which resemble that. So pasta, peppers, and then some pictures, some paintbrush, the pig. So it has to be in real context. Children should be able to touch, feel, and repeat it as many times as they can. Similarly, in the center, you can see it's a sorting activity based on color criteria, and the last activity is on space exploration. So rather than giving them the direct information about what is moon, what is Mars, you can just let them explore. And most of these things are easily available in our school setup. You don't need to buy a lot of things for all of these resources. You can actually make them from the waste in your house, or from the things which you're not using in your school. The next one is communication method. As Dr. Rania just mentioned, that we need to use AI. Running away from it won't help us in any way. We need to face it. We need to learn how to navigate it. So again, this is an augmentative communication device. This, I wouldn't suggest you to obviously go for it unless and until a speech and language therapist has told you so. So this needs some intervention. The image on the right, which looks like an iPad, but it is a specialized iPad for learners who can't really verbalize their feelings and they can't really talk. The one on the left-hand side, that can be made by a teacher. And you can see that a child who is struggling to speak or who doesn't speak at all, they can use these symbolized communication methods, and they can point on it and then they can communicate how they feel. Now, with all these ideas shared with you, rethinking inclusive curriculum becomes our main, next step. So our schools or mainstream school systems are built around assumptions of uniform progress, which unintentionally marginalize children with adverse learning needs. So it's like we try to fit everybody into one assumption, into one curriculum. Rather than relying on experts and placing responsibility on one teacher, one school, one principal, one individual, efforts should be shared. Means there has to be collaboration with speech and language therapists, pediatric doctors, occupational therapists, school counselors, teachers, principals, they all need to work and collaborate together, making inclusion more meaningful and long-lasting. Decolonizing curriculum, no matter which area the child comes from or which culture the child comes from, you need to understand that they have a different context. So decolonizing curriculum is also one of the ways to bring inclusivity and make it uniform. Research-informed approaches, universal design for learning, which is a very important tool to break down barriers because it reduces and removes barriers even before teaching begins. Differentiation instruction, adjusting content, process or output depending upon learner readiness. So your one lesson plan doesn't fit everybody. Culturally responsive pedagogy means valuing diverse identities and knowledge. Again, I'm a person who, tries to fuel my teaching, my experiences with research-led practices. I do not bring anything in my classroom from vague trend or something what I feel is good. So you have to back your ideas with research. So this is Berner's cycle of learning, wherein it tells us to audit our learning, then gain the knowledge acquisition through research-based practices, apply that in your classroom, then get feedback and refine that learning. So always taking a feedback. We do not have a habit of taking feedback. We feel like, oh, I am the best. I'm a teacher. I'm a leader. I do not need to do anything. But with the moving times, with the evolution of everything around you, you need to have feedback so that you can keep improving. And then extending that learning by thinking ahead, like how is that going to be applicable in future? So you have to acquire knowledge, then you have to transform your classroom, and then you have to evaluate, and then you again go back to acquiring new knowledge. So it's a continuous cycle. Again, one more very easily applied model, that is PACE model, and PACE stands for playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy. Everything in your classroom can be converted into play. Everything. And it can be a simple maths book to any other resource you have in your classroom. And when you engage the child from the beginning, you have them for the whole lesson or for life. That is what we say. And that's when their curiosity gets ignited. So this is again just a visual representation of what the PACE model looks like. And again, I'm stressing on the teacher language as well. You can see that the language here is, I wonder how I can help you, or can I join in, or I will be curious for you to know. So the language you use as a teacher is also really important. So, and again, this last bit wherein here you can see your world is all about the goals you have to achieve, the checklist you have to complete, the paper correction you have to do, the lesson you have to deliver. But have you thought about the students' world? What are they thinking and what they need? And again, unconditional positive regard. Always be their support system. Do not say negative words that you can't do it, tumhe to nahi aata, and stuff like that. How integration looks across faculties. Obviously, it's not only about education, but it's also upon technology and social sciences. So education, obviously, it focuses on pedagogy. So that's where we all come in. But then we need to integrate technology because it helps in supporting learning and it reduces teacher workload. If teachers learn how to navigate AI, they can actually reduce their workload. Social sciences, they critically examine any inequality, representation, and policy. So these are the three important faculties which need to merge in order to make education inclusive. Uh, I don't I want to check how many. Okay. Okay, so I would like you all to just have a thought about what is the biggest barrier to participation in your teaching context? So after all the slides which you have seen, after these information, what do you think, what is the biggest barrier to participation in your teaching? And what is one small change that could reduce it? And is that barrier student related or system related? So I want you to type answers in the chat box. You can answer all three questions or you can answer just one of these questions. And if you're sitting out in front of this presentation and if you have any partner beside you, I'll just give you maybe 1 or 2 minutes to discuss this with your partner.
You discuss with your peers also. The three questions he posed to front of you. What is the biggest barrier to participation in your teaching contest? What is the one small change that could you reduce it? And is this barrier student related or system related? You discuss with the peer or you can post in the chat box also. Especially B.Ed student.
Okay. Is there anyone who would like to contribute to this discussion? Who would like to say a few words or few lines about this? If you want to say, I'm not forcing anybody.
Anybody from here? They can come here and discuss.
Yes, of course. Or even if there are people online who wants to. I think Zulekha Siddiqui has raised her hand. Miss, is there any way she can speak? If you can unmute yourself, Zulekha.
Zulekha is there online. Zulekha, if you have any question, then you can ask. You can discuss with these answers of this question.
Okay, so Mr. Manoj has said that we have to treat them according to their requirements. Exactly, Mr. Manoj. And Ms. Zulekha, she cannot reply, she cannot unmute herself. Ms. Zulekha, if you want, you can type your message in the chat box.
Yeah.
This is exactly what a classroom looks like. When you ask them questions, everybody goes silent. Okay, I'll move forward in the meantime. Those who want to reply to these questions, they can definitely give it a thought.
Hello, Afia. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Asma.
What is the biggest barrier to participate in the teaching context? Actually, I realized that physical infrastructure, we have limited physical infrastructure because populations of India, it's larger than other country. So it's
Yes,
difficult for the
definitely.
parents and teacher and government society to provide the physical infrastructure as well as the training for the teachers required. And what is small thing that I could reduce it as I'm a teacher, so I can maintain my classroom. Those who cannot listen, those who cannot watch, so let them sit in front. And some PPT nowadays, PPT is available. So images and PPT that actually attract the childs. The first is a play card or some charts. They can attract the attention. They can understand the concept. So how can I make my lesson plan easy to understand? Then I can plan this, design this, and in this very student related or system related. We know our system and we know our culture. So according to as we can take a lead to make a system to design as per the need of the class, we can make a request for the management or for the government. For that, how can we make them easily concept or understanding for them. So for that, we have to design the system in our own institution. We cannot copy from the others, but our system, according to the base, we can design, plan, and implement. Thank you so much.
That's very well said, Dr. Asma. And as they say, that a leader who changes an organization is just a leader, but a leader who changes people and systems is a true leader. And that's what you really just now said. And that's what I really wanted to conclude, that
Miss
you can
Apia,
take one step.
one question is posed in the chat box. You just see the Zuleka. She's
Okay,
Zuleka.
I'll just read that. Okay, so Miss Zulekha Siddiqui says that a teacher has to complete her syllabus in a short span of lecture, which is about 30 to 35 minutes. Sometimes teachers find it difficult to take responses or interact with students. Definitely, I agree. We do not get that time to connect with them. Even though the teacher wants to do that, but due to lack of time, she's not able to do so. Yes, and our curriculum is very vast. Our curriculum is extremely vast, and we have high expectations, and we run behind numbers and grades. So that is, yes, a biggest systematic barrier to us. And when I talk about all these resources, uh, you just need to keep in mind that give that first 5 minutes of that lesson to the child. Rest 30 minutes will will fall in its own pace and time, because when you get that first 5 minutes with that connection, so I always say connection before curriculum, the curriculum will always follow in a way that the child will not just learn in your classroom, but वो आपका क्लास छोड़ के भी जाएगा तो वो आपको हमेशा याद रखेगा, और वो आपसे हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ सीखते ही रहेगा. So you have to be that leader in your classroom. So very well said, all of you. That's exactly what I wanted, the outcome of this particular discussion. Uh, the next slide is what you can do tomorrow, what you can do in your classroom tomorrow. So you can audit your lesson. So again, go back to your lesson plan and think how I can make it more experiential or hands-on. एक छोटा सा element आप क्या अपने classroom में ला सकते हो, which can bring out the aha or the wow moment in your children. Introduce flexibility. सबको एक जैसी वर्कशीट मत दीजिए, सबके हिसाब से आप वर्कशीट बनाने की कोशिश कीजिए. Some children learn better when you teach them on board. कुछ बच्चों के आप पास चले जाइए और उनके लेवल पे आप बैठ के आप उनको समझा दीजिए, or just say that go one step back. So if you're teaching them 4 plus 4, teach them 1 plus 1. So just take one step back with some children. So that's how you can introduce flexibility and learner-centric approach. So ask your children how you can improve, or give them some choices, give them some representation. So that's when you give a little control towards the learners or to the students. That's when your whole classroom becomes more positive, I'd say. So that's all from my side. Again, to me, your feedback matters a lot. I would like you to scan this small QR code and just take 1 more minute of your time and give me the feedback so that I improve in my future sessions. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or if you have any questions or queries or want to collaborate, then that's my email address for you. And again, I would like to thank the whole panel of the organizing team, the Anjuman Islam Akbar Pir Boy College team, for being so patient and so helpful throughout the process. Thank you.
Very engageful and interactive session, Ms. Afia. Thank you so much for your enlightening talk. Your experience and thought have surely gives us deeper understanding of the importance of inclusive practice in classroom as well as in education. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Pratima to propose the vote of thanks, acknowledge the valuable contribution of our esteemed guests, and bringing the session this to a meaningful and impact.
Thank you, Ms. Bhavna. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Pratima Sabde, faculty at MCT College of Education and Research, Airoli. As we draw closer to this wonderful session, I am filled with immense gratitude for these incredible ideas, insights, and energy shared in this room today. We set out to explore integrating SDG 4 into promoting inclusive and equality learning. I thank to our exceptional speaker and engaged audience. We have exactly achieved that. Ms. Afia spoke about the advanced mnemonics and gave us insights about inclusion in practice in detail about the classroom realities with relevant examples. She gave emphasis on rethinking inclusive curriculum and importance of research-informed approaches and its integration across faculties. She gave exact guidelines about what can be done in the classroom. Dr. Rania, in her session, spoke about the best practices in Greece to achieve the SDG 4 goal. She gave the information about the European SchoolNet in detail and helped us to understand how to transform successful education model between countries and how can teacher-led research improve classroom innovation and learning outcomes. In conclusion, aligning education with Sustainable Development Goal 4 is not merely a policy aspiration, but a goal necessity. Building sustainable lifelong learning ecosystems required a shared commitment from educators, institutions, policymakers, and communities. The transformation of education system must be rooted in inclusivity, innovation, and adaptability to meet the evolving demands of the society. Teachers remains at the heart of this transformation, acting as a catalyst for change and innovation. Their continuous professional development, engagement in research, and active participation in decision-making process are essential to translating policies into meaningful classroom practices. Furthermore, the integration of sustainability and equity into curricula supported by strategic leadership and international collaborations will empower learners to become responsible global citizens. Lifelong learning ecosystem must be extended beyond formal education to inclusive, diverse learning opportunities that enable individuals to grow continuously. Ultimately, the realization of SDG 4 depends on our collective ability to foster collaboration, embrace change, and commit to building a resilient, inclusive, and future-ready education system. The journey is challenging, but with unified effort, it is certainly achievable. It is my distinct privilege to propose a vote of thanks. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who contributed to the success of both the presentations. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Afia Riaz Mohammed, SEN teacher at Greenwood Academic Trust, Nottingham, United Kingdom. She spoke about the commitment to her commitment to inclusive education. Her work truly reflects the spirit of equitable and accessible learning for all. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Rania Lampau, STEM educator and researcher, Greek Ministry of Education, Religious Affairs and Sports, Greek Astronomy and Space Society for her insightful and thought-provoking work on aligning education with SDG 4. Her contribution has provided us with a valuable perspective on building sustainable lifelong learning ecosystems. I would also like to thank the organizers for providing this platform to discuss such a significant and timely theme. My appreciation goes to all the distinguished speakers and participants for their valuable presence, engagement, and meaningful contribution to this discussion. A special note of thanks to educators and researchers who continue to strive towards improving the quality and inclusivity of education, thereby contributing to the achievement of the global goal. Lastly, I thank everyone present here for your time, attention, and active participation. Your engagement truly makes discussions like this meaningful and impactful. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Fatima, for the gracious vote of thanks and formally concluding this session. We now proceed for the lunch break. I kindly request all participants to reassemble back after the break for the next technical session. The lunch break till the 2:30, and we will come back for the technical session 1. One important instruction: the lunch arrangement for the teacher in the library, and students will take the lunch here only. They need to collect their lunch from the outside and eat it. Okay? Thank you.